Everyone wants the best weapon for their characters. But have you ever thought, those weapons we fish out of the banners, who did they belong before Traveler gets them? And what secrets are hiding behind them? We're continuing our exploration of weapon stories. As a permanent 5-star weapon, many of you must have lost your 50-50 to Aquila Favonia. Whether you liked it, it has witnessed a grand history. The founding of the Knights of the Favonius. Yes, it's the sword of the first Grandmaster of the Favonius, Vanessa the Lionfang Knight. The sword was but a cheap iron sword used by a slave gladiator, but it became sharp and powerful after being blessed by the wind. Aside from legendary 5-star weapons, even 3-star weapons have their own stories. Like this Cold Steel. Do you remember Ellen, the girl that always asked you teach her how to break training dummies? Her father Herman was a well-known adventurer, and Cold Steel was his weapon at the time. Then he took an arrow to the knee. Then Ellen was born, and she became the one that the adventurer wants to spend his life protecting. So he sold his old buddy that helped him through his journey, and returned home to become a good father. But the other two weapons don't have such lucky owners. The Skyrider sword and the Skyrider greatsword belong to the same guy, a delusional swordmaster from Liyue. He admired those adepti that can fly in the sky with sword, so he climbed up to Guyun Forest to try doing the same, stepped on his sword and jumped off the cliff, and ended up with a bad injury. After recovering, he reflected on himself. The reason he didn't fly must be that the sword is not big and wide enough. So he got an even bigger sword, climbed up to the top of Guyun Stone Forest again, and tried. All they found was this great sword stuck on the middle of the mountain, while the guy is nowhere to be found. Many people equipped Xiao with Primordial Jade winged spear, but in fact, this weapon held the memory that Xiao never wished to remember. The days when he was enslaved by the god of dreams, and was forced to devour good dreams of his victims. Later, Rex Lapis defeated the god of dreams and liberated Xiao. And this Primordial Jade winged spear, the weapon of the god of dream, was gifted to Xiao by Rex Lapis, as something to remind him, do not forget your own past, and do not remember the price of freedom. Inazuma's weapon stories, however, are pretty tragic. Kagura's Verity is the sig weapon of Yae Miko, which now canonically belongs to her. But in the past, it belonged to the heroine of Inazuma, Kitsune Saigyu. Inazuma was the nation of yokais before Raiden's sibling showed up. Kitsune Saigyu, the wise and beautiful Grand Kitsune, ruled over the whole Inazuma. Even after the Archon War, when Raiden Makoto took the throne of Electro Archon, Kitsune didn't choose to fight her, and chose to hand over the authority in peace. But sadly, even in the Nation of Eternity, the friendship and peace was never eternal. When the Cataclysm broke out, Raiden Makoto and Ai headed to Kenrya, and Inazuma was guarded by Kitsune Saigyu, who eventually died fighting the Abyss Army. And her Suzu was eventually inherited by Kitsune's disciple, Yae Miko. Mistsplitter Reforged is Ayaka's sig weapon, and as its name suggested, it was once broken and reforged. The original weapon belonged to Takamine the Mistsplitter, a swordmaster 500 years ago. He was in love with a Miko from Asase Shrine, the master of that kitty in Asase Shrine. Takamine's sword to defeat the Black Tide and go back to marry the Miko. Unfortunately, although the Black Tide was defeated, Takamine was also contaminated by the Abyss, and his sword was broken in half. What returned to the Miko was a black monster, and the Miko had to put him out of his misery with another 5-star weapon, Thundering Pulse. The broken sword in his hand was recovered and forged into Mistsplitter Reforged. The 4-star weapon King Squire has many copies. It's a weapon forged by Arenaras, and they will give them to everyone willing to get along with the forest. The last one that held this bull was a girl. She was raised by Rishbull tigers, and became the guardian of the forest. When the Black Tide came, she fought the Abyss monsters with King Squire, yet was eventually contaminated by the Abyss, becoming a black monster. Both fortunately and unfortunately, the bloodstained knight Roland happened to pass by, and killed her with one clean strike. In that moment, the girl was finally freed from her agony, while Roland has to bear the pain for hundreds of years to come. Nobody had ever got a gift weapon from the Arenara from then on, until a blonde traveler came to the forest. Arenaras reforged the King's Squire, and gifted it to Traveler's sibling, and later Traveler themselves. As we can see, every weapon in Genshin bears a Teyvat story, a slice of history lost in the river of time. Which weapon has your favorite backstories? Or, do you know the original owners of other weapons? Drop a comment and join the discussion. If you liked the video, drop a like and subscribe, and I'll lead you to even more Genshin secrets.